What's up, everybody? It's Price here, and I want to make this video to let you know I was in the local newspaper. I was in the Springfield Republican. Yeah, they did an interview with me for my podcasting and children's books I do. And they heard about the letters that I write my kids. I've been writing my kids letters every day since the day where they were born. Every day I write them a letter. And it just gives them some advice. And I decorate the letters up and all that good stuff. But, you know, they did a really good article. And I wanted to share it with you. Just in case people out there don't get this newspaper. This is it here. So let me read some of it to you. It says, author, illustrator Price Van Ray of Springfield, Massachusetts, dispenses daily advice to his 5 children. And the article goes on to say, former machinist is now author, illustrator, and podcaster. By Carolyn Robbins. She was the news reporter who interviewed me. Excellent, great woman. She also writes books too, which is really cool. So Price Van Ray, author, illustrator, and new podcaster, has mailed daily letters to his 5 children, offering them daily dose of fatherly wisdom and encouragement. I started writing the letters 20 years ago, first weekly and now daily, Ray said. In all, he has penned thousands of illustrated letters to his kids. For Ray, a former machinist who received a Bachelor's of Fine Arts from the University of Massachusetts, followed by training and studio production at Disney University, the credentials he most is proud of is being a father, along with his ability to encourage and support not only his own children, now grown, but young people everywhere who are growing up in a confused and troubled times. When he was a kid growing up in the 1970s, Ray, who loved reading Greek mythology and watching Star Trek on TV, was always drawing. When I put something down on a page, I can't stop, he said. It's a pastime he's nurtured for a while, holding a numerous of jobs ranging from working at a machine shop to working in a bank. Ray's calling as a storyteller began when he wrote and illustrated a children's fable he called Mother of Pearls. It's the story about a mother who lost her son to the sea. When she searches for him to no avail, her tears drop into the ocean, creating pearls found in oysters. He wrote the tale when a few fellow students asked him to write a story for her. Then Ray, who's blessed with a sonorous radio voice, read his story to an audience of UMass students. When I finished reading it, half of them were crying, he said. His first published effort was the Somebody book. The story is about self-esteem, loneliness, friendship, and respect, he said. He said he wrote and illustrated the book when he was at a low point in his life, working the 3rd shift in a factory. The message of the book, which Ray published through his self-started South Hadley Publishing Company, now no longer in business, is that everyone has a special gift worth celebrating. When Ray's daughter Myosin was 9 years old, her dad encouraged her to write a story he subsequently published. Her book, One Lucky Petal, about a flower with only one petal, harkened to a theme found in her father's work, being happy with the way you are. Ray's work includes a series of stories about fantastic characters like those in The Mother of Pearls, to everyday people like the gay black boy growing up in the early 1970s who's bullied by his peers. Like all his characters, 11-year-old Charlie Book, the main character in The Gay Book, triumphs to learn the true value of friendship. Recently, Ray's creative impulse and imagination has taken a new digital format. Last year, Ray launched a podcast series called Pop City Culture, dealing with issues his own children faced growing up. The series features 2 black kids, 13 years old Hakeem and 11-year-old Reggie Brown, who host an underground podcast in their grandmother's house. Ray created the backstory for his characters that give them a unique perspective on culture and society. The pair grew up in the suburban settings with an alcoholic father which was contributing factor leading to his parents' divorce. The brothers become temporarily homeless and get by living on the streets until they move in with their grandmother, who lives in the inner city. Ray, who lends his characters their distinctive voice, records the podcast in his living room at his Northampton Avenue home in the Mason Square area. Topics range from current events to African American culture. The podcast's occasional weekly news summary segments are delivered with a bit of attitude, and all segments end with words of wisdom, gleaned from the conversation Hakeem and Reggie have through their alter ego Ray. So far, Ray has recorded more than 100 episodes of the series, which titles includes The Mandela Effect, Will Smith's Slap Aftermath, and Out of Control Fake News. When it comes to fake news, the podcast's words of wisdom can be summed up to seek the truth and recognize lies. Episodes of the podcast can be found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, among many others. More digital art projects are always in the making. Ray has discovered how to use a paintbrush on a computer with colors impossible to match with regular brushes and paints. He keeps a sketchbook of drawings of everyday street scenes. For example, he will sketch a group of folks standing at a bus stop. Later, the sketch is transferred to the computer, where he modifies the artwork to create vividly dressed personalities that jump off the screen. These digital images sometimes become a cover art for his Chronicles of the Nickelback book series. Stories take place in the fantasy parallel universe populated by ghosts, wizards, fairies, where a young hero must prove his mettle. Ray is also exploring creating NFTs, non-fungible tokens. NFTs refer to a unique and literally irreplaceable sort of digital items that someone might want to buy. In addition to marketing his animation talents to the local market, Ray said he would love to be a voice actor or host a local radio show. He has had a lot of experiences doing that with his Pop City Culture podcast and another podcast called Forever Dad, where fatherly advice is dispensed. So that is the news article. I just wanted to share that with you and say, I really couldn't have done all of this, especially the podcast, without a lot of people who have given me the encouragement through the years and supported me in the podcast and in my art. So I just want to share that with you. I want to say thank you, and that's about it. Hey, thanks again, guys.